What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Trevor. Welcome back to Unprofessional. Stoked to have you. Very happy to have you. We're having a new upbeat side of the podcast. Listen to me. In this one, we talk about booster shots for COVID. We talk seeing ghosts at night. A patient saw ghosts and literally coming through the walls, and how we treated her. Essentially gave her an exorcism. But we also talk Wordle on the subway. We talk shit about residents. We fucking talk about cool attendings. We give some unsolicited advice for you guys. We give some nice quotes and other things too, which I don't have written down. So enjoy the podcast. Have a good time. Really appreciate you guys being here, and hope you get some enjoyment from this episode. This shit's professional. Of course there's a countdown.
This is too professional.
Welcome, everybody, to another podcast of Unprofessional. I'm your host, Dr. Trevor. This is Ken. He tags along.
I'm your medical student.
He's like a medical student that's like kind of a nuisance in the background, but we put up with him.
I'm working for you.
But sometimes we forget his name. So welcome. We are two anonymous, almost doctors. We talk about current events in health and medicine. We give you the scoop. And then we also have some unfiltered stories from the hospital. You know, we're authentic. That's what we are. We drop some fun facts, some advice, and make people laugh, hopefully. So
we're so authentic. We got to be
so
anonymous.
Authentic that we don't show our faces. That's how you know it's real, baby. We hide the ingredients label, but we're real.
We're basically in witness
no
protection
antibiotics.
Because of this. You know the crazy thing? We're so close to being doctors, but like some people already have their degrees. Like people from our class, they've been posting on Instagram that they have received their degrees already.
Really? You like the physical degree?
Yeah. So they already finished their rotations, and then it's been like long enough, so like 2 weeks or a month for them to get their degree. That's crazy to me. They didn't take any time off.
Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah. I mean, whatever. Who cares? It doesn't even matter.
I'm jealous. I want my degree.
I don't really care.
I want to be done too.
I mean, I want to be done, but I don't know. Like, what's one more month?
You know, I was thinking, do you ever miss those days that we had in like Upper Belford or something, where we're just going hard, studying like 8 hours a day on the weekends or something?
I mean, immediate thought is no, but yeah, I kind of do. Like, I mean, just the structure of it. Like, look, I have one thing I'm focusing on every day, and that's it. Like, we go up there, we do work, and that's what we do, and that's our life. And life's just so simple when you have that kind of mindset, or like that's what you do each day. And yeah, no, it's extremely, I guess, liberating almost to be so like in one zone. Like, that's all there is. You know,
I had so much freedom because I only had to focus on one thing. You know, nothing else mattered, and it was nice to be in that. Now I got all this other shit to figure out. I got to figure out visa stuff. I got to do, you know, when am I graduating? Fill out paperwork.
I know, we're like real people again. You honestly aren't a person when you're in medical school for the first at least 2 years.
No.
Yeah.
But I think that's everything. You know, back when I was in high school, everything revolved around high school. I was so concerned with who I was taking to prom, you know?
Yeah, right.
There was nothing. My sister was like, I remember her telling me, she was in like second year of university, right? At this point. And she's like, no one's going to remember who you took to prom. I was like, everyone's going to remember. It's so important.
Right. Right.
And I don't remember anything about that day. You know?
I was thinking yesterday, because this is how my mind works, that a pretty girl is maybe, you know, like the value of what they put on things might be so different. And this goes for everybody, but let's take a pretty girl, and it's like, oh, this guy at this fraternity, like the top guy at this fraternity, he is more important to me than dating, like, let's say, you know, the president of the United States, or like, you know what I mean? Or just some like person who has all these friends, like all this money down, like all this shit. And they're like, no, I want the fraternity guy, just because that's the world. That's the world at that time, which you can't blame. You can't blame them. But yeah, no, I was the same dude in high school. Like, everything matters.
And in university too.
Well, yeah.
Nothing mattered except university, man. And then now I'm more open. Like, med school doesn't matter as much to me, but it just takes up all my time.
Yeah. Oh, for
You
sure.
know?
Well, because we don't have to grind it out every single fucking day. It's way more. You just kind of got to show up now.
My news rotation is so simple. I go in for 4 hours a day, every day except Thursday, and she lets me go early half the time. So
Yeah, it's
been really
dude.
nice.
Fourth year. I mean, it's harder. It's harder in some senses because you have to do real people shit and like set things up and actually be a human being. But it's a lot easier in that way where you're just like, all right, if I just show up, mail it in, and then leave, like we're chilling. Which I feel like is more
It's
like
been
a
nice
real
though,
job.
'cause
Like that's how real jobs are, kind of.
Yeah. The 2 years that we had were like a nice break from reality, and now back to reality.
All right, we're gonna play the intro music now because we're we're on a different setup, so we don't use fucking shitty ass Zoom anymore. We're becoming a little bit professional.
It's all because of you.
Okay, the geniuses will see us now.
I'm a pro.
He's very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional.
These are our newly arrived surgeons, Doctors Trowbridge and Greenbaum.
Doctor?
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
We're not doctors.
Are you sure they can handle this?
Oh, we can handle it. We're professionals.
You'll forgive us if we're not instilled with confidence.
Potentially unprofessional pieces of content.
Look at that.
Man, I forgot how
I
good that
know.
was.
Isn't that sick? Well, because you never listen to the pods, right?
I don't listen to anything. I only listen to 2 songs on repeat.
Man.
Was that Dr. Mike at the end?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dr. Mike.
I'm a big
I
fan
had
of
to fit
Dr.
him in there.
Mike.
He had a YouTube video on unprofessional like behavior and doctors and posting on social media and stuff. And I'm like, oh, we do all of that. And then I like took that bit from it.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm a big fan of Dr.
I emailed
Mike.
him, so I went for some fucking high fruit on the tree, and I emailed Dr. Mike, who has like 1 billion subscribers on YouTube. We have like my brother who listens to this, and he did not respond. But I was like, hey, we use one of your videos in our intro. You should come on our podcast. Yeah.
I don't think he'd want
dude,
to.
he does not want to. He has bigger fish to fry. He fucking interviewed the not the attorney general, the
Fauci, right?
dude, he's interviewed. Yeah, exactly. He interviewed Fauci. He interviewed the what's the medical general guy? Surgeon general. He interviewed the surgeon general as well. The guy who looks like you but with gray hair.
He could interview me.
Oh,
next.
dude, I think that would be. I think people would be really into that.
Med student issues.
So I got the booster the other day, right? For COVID.
Finally.
And
wait, you got your second dose in like January, like 2021. So it's been over a year.
It's been a minute. But they were like, yo, you got to get this. I'm like, okay. So I did it, and shitty night of sleeping the next day. But whatever, I got over it. But literally the next day, I'm told that New York is giving out $100 incentives for people to get the booster. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, let's go. Just give me another one. Fuck it.
This is like a week ago, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people are giving me flyers for that shit, and I was like, why the hell did I get it in October? You know, at least it's getting close, and I'm able to get my 4th booster.
That's what you get for being
or my 4th
proactive,
shot.
Man. That's why I wait on everything.
I think SGU like told you we're gonna expel you, or if you don't get the booster, that's why you got it.
Yeah, they told me I'd have to suck
Man,
the
that's
dean's
so unlucky.
pee-pee.
We gotta become anti-vaxxers at this point, because like they're getting all the benefits. You know, all these people that waited. Like, people are getting their kids vaxxed, like, multiple times. You said that, right?
Yeah, I'm down. You want to become an anti-vaxxer? I like how the other day you were subtly dropping hints that you're an anti-vaxxer. Like, we went to lunch, and this dude's like, "Oh, hey, you know, can you show your vaccine card or whatever?" And you're like, "Oh, are we still doing that? Are we still doing that kind of a thing?" Huh. All right.
You know, I went to the movies this weekend and I did it again.
That's a funny bit.
And so I was going inside and there was no one at the counter. So I was like, and the lady was like, you know, to the side talking to someone. I was like, oh yes, I can sneak in. So I started like walking faster and she's like, excuse me, sir. And I was like about to go up the escalator. And she's like, can I see your vaccine card? I was like, oh, Like, I thought the restrictions are gone. And she's like, no. I was like, oh, well,
Interesting.
here it is again. You know, I have it ready, but I just want to make their life a little harder and make it seem like I don't want to do it.
Another bit that's funny that some of the guys do in public. It's like I forget the dude's name. It's not Fred Armisen, but it's some other comedian. And he goes, him and his buddy, whenever there's other people around that they don't know and they don't see each other super often, but when they do, they give each other a little kiss on the lips and just don't mention it. So they like walk in, like he walks in with his old high school buddies, and he's sitting at the other guy's sitting at the bar with some girl, and then he goes up to him and he's like, oh hey baby, and like kisses the guy on the lips, and then they just continue a conversation as if nothing happened. All of his high school friends are like, what the fuck is this, like what Hollywood people do now? Like, it's so fucking good.
You gotta have big nuts, you know. You gotta be really secure
for sure.
to do something like that. I'm not secure enough.
You
for
are
that.
Definitely not. No, I'm secure enough to kiss a man on the lips. Definitely.
I'm gonna need to see some evidence for that to happen. Not with me though.
No, I know. So I have a good.
Let me tell you about
then I'll go.
Let me tell you first. So you've been doing a lot of Wordle,
yeah,
right? And what's the goal? You know. What would you say the goal is?
The goal
in Wordle?
is a three worder, or for sure.
Okay. A three guess.
Two is you are on your money, but a 3-worder means that you like narrow that shit down to a good level. You know, 2 you have to get a little lucky.
Good. Yeah. So back when I was playing, I'm done for now. They made the words way too hard. After the word agora, I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, no one's gonna know that. So I saw this girl on the subway playing, and like obviously the goal is, you know, as few guesses as possible. 3 is great. 2 is like, you know, even better, but it's hard. Her first word, dude. what would you say is a good first word? You've been using
crane? I hit it with crate.
Crate. Okay, that's good too. Her word was oasis.
Oasis. Why the 2 S's? I mean, it's got 3 vowels. It's got the 3 vowels. It's not bad, but I don't like the 2 S's.
Here's why I don't like it. You know, there's a vowel at the beginning.
Yeah, how many words have an O first or an A? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
There's different ways to do it. And the double S I really don't like, because like I know S is common, but
mistake.
Don't double it. And I was like, all right, you know, it's fine. 3 vowel, it's okay for her first word. Her second word was fleet. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Why are you using a double E again? You know, it's so weird. And I was just staring. I took a picture of it and sent to my friends on Snapchat, but it was just so... Her boyfriend was like watching her, and he's like, yeah, that's a good job. And I'm like, are you guys both like new to this game or something?
Or he's just a yes man. Just will say yes to anything.
He's like, as long as it gets me into bed.
That's an unhealthy relationship when the guy's just nodding to the bad Wordle choices. You gotta fuck with your girl at that point. You gotta be like, bitch, that is terrible. That is
what are you doing?
Terrible. Fix it.
I was so sad that I had to get off the subway because I was like waiting for her to make another guess. Both of the words, surprisingly, like I think fleet just showed there was an E in it, and so she didn't get very far. But I wanted to say and see if she even ended up figuring it out.
What if she got it on the second one with fleet?
If she got on the 3rd try, I'd be very surprised. I don't see it happening. Her guess is she's exclusively double lettering.
You see her score after when she shares it, and it's just like she just is only 2s and 3s.
Today was an off day.
All right, you done with your Wordle story?
It's very surprising.
So I had a patient. Was in the family medicine rotation, and we had a patient come in, sweet lady, whatever, like 60s, early 70s, and she's very sweet and pretty healthy.
Sounds like your type.
Yeah, I'd kiss her on the cheek. And she comes in, we're like, oh, so, you know, how are you doing? What's going, you know, what brings you in today? She just got like a history of diabetes and like hypertension or something. She's like, oh, you know, it's a little weird. It's a little strange. but I've been seeing ghosts. I'm like, oh, all right, okay. You know, you try to stay composed or that kind of thing.
Just coming to the wrong place.
So you want to go to the exorcism clinic? No. So she's like, whether they're there or not, you know, I realize that, you know, this is kind of a crazy thing. So she's obviously lucid and with it and stuff, and understands that she's seeing shit that is probably not there, or the house is haunted, but whatever. But they literally come through the doors and windows and walls at night only, and it's and she has been having trouble sleeping because of that. Otherwise, everything's normal. She takes like lisinopril and some like vitamins, like some herbal vitamins. So we looked at the herbal vitamins. One of them's like, have you ever heard of this? It's like ginkgo biloba or something, and it
sounds familiar.
Like, it's apparently helps with like increasing blood flow to the brain, like Alzheimer's type shit.
I believe it.
But we're like, okay, so definitely gonna take you off of that in case it's making you see ghosts, and then we switched her off lisinopril. Because apparently that could maybe possibly have some kind of psychiatric.
There's no way.
Bro, we just did it just in case.
That wasn't on Hippocrates as one of the adverse effects.
Bro, it wasn't on my sketchy. I didn't see it on a picture. I didn't see a picture of a guy going...
Ghost.
Bro, how ridiculous is it, by the way, that like I might be in the emergency department treating someone that's dying, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this picture of a guy like ironing a board, and so I better give this and save this patient's life. Like, your life is based on this picture that I remember.
Sketchy is
for
something
people
else.
who don't know, sketchy is like a way to memorize stuff, for instance, like drugs and like their side effects, and then it just shows a bunch of pictures, and we assign different things to them. So, give an example, like a person with like apple bottom jeans, it can be a picture of swelling of the legs, something like that. Edema.
Or like if there's a spider in the picture, it's like it's teratogenic and it harms like fetuses.
Right. So I'll remember to not give you a drug that kills you, because I remembered a picture of a spider on a pregnant lady in a picture. So
exactly.
Yeah, kind of crazy, but true. So anyway, let me finish my story. So lady comes in.
Was she exorcised or no?
We exorcised her demons. Brought out a Bible and the Quran just in case. No. So
okay.
By the way, do Muslims, they must have some like ghost stories and shit too, right?
Yeah, dude, I have a lot.
Okay, we'll go to that later.
From experience.
Okay. Anyway, so we do that kind of shit. And that was pretty much it. She came back like a week later and was like, wanted to double check things, but they had decreased a little bit since that had happened. And we gave her a Benadryl each night to help her sleep, which I don't know about that because she's fucking 70.
Doesn't Benadryl cause hallucinations?
I don't know. Some of the decisions we make in that family practice are questionable. and then the resident recommended, and to her credit, she was just spitballing, but she's like, what if we give her what is the... It's like a hormone that helps you sleep, that causes sleep. It's the main one in your body that causes... Yeah, melatonin. So what if we give her melatonin? And I'm like, I'm pretty confident that not only can cause hallucinations and stuff, but it's just like has very little data to back it up. And we looked it up, and both of those things were true. So, yeah. But anyway, that's my ghost story.
Wow. Did you tell her? Did you give her referrals for like... a church or something? She should reach out to them in case like things don't get better.
I didn't do that, but I gave her the name of a local priest, and I gave her a bunch of holy water that was sanctified by the good Saint Austonian Maximus. So
it's surprising that you have holy water because you're the least religious person I know.
Why do you say that?
I think you invite the demons into your home.
Give me strength, Lucifer.
You're on the opposite team. You're like, the devil's corrupting people. I want to be on that team. Baby. I want to corrupt. That's so funny. Like, it's crazy that like that she saw ghosts in her, in her mind. And that wasn't distressing to her, that she's like, oh, let me just make an appointment at my family health center in 2 weeks. I know. And I'll come check it out.
Kind of a boss move, actually. Yeah. She's kind of fucking sick for that.
She might be used to it.
Yeah. But she's like, yeah, whether they're there or not, like, it's kind of crazy and it scares me. But, I'm here and hopefully we can take care of it. I'm like, damn, that's like the most mature way for seeing ghosts.
Does she live alone?
No, she lives Well, she does, but she lives just above like her family. So and then the last like week, the son had been sleeping upstairs with her.
Imagine like living with your mom and she's like, I've seen ghosts everywhere. Like that, I would shit myself too.
Yeah, I don't know.
In Pakistan, there's actually like, it's a very traditional culture, and so everyone has ghost stories. Like my dad has fucking 50 of them from his house, and we had like an old house. It was it's a different kind of house that you see here. Like it's open, you know. There's not like a roof, and so you have like a big wall surrounding the property, and then you have a main house. Some of it's open, some of it's closed. Like obviously the bedrooms are closed, and then there's a roof, and on the roof there's like another room. And everyone thought that the room on the roof was haunted. And so for holidays, like there's a holiday called Eid.
Okay.
It's basically like Christmas. Usually my aunt or my grandma was telling me that they would take up like some sweets and stuff, because you're supposed to eat sweets on the holiday, and give it to the ghost. And then she'd come back the next day and the bowl was empty.
Oh.
So there was like a shitload of stories like that.
There's probably no other explanation, so I think it's probably a ghost too.
Well, it was outside, so it could have easily been the birds.
Someone could have easily just wanted candy and then ate it.
But yeah, like my dad has a bunch, my mom has a bunch. Like my granddad was like one of the spiritual leaders. He did a lot of exorcisms, actually.
What?
Yeah.
What, your granddad?
Actually, yeah.
Holy shit.
So he was like he's super old when he died. He was like 97 or something. But he was super secretive. No one knew like too much about him, not even my grandma. And he was like a teacher in the village, but he's also like like the elder in the community. And so people would come to him, and he was like the religious leader too. So people would come to him and he'd like do exorcism and shit. And he was like, he told us about one, like this girl was in a coma, and he went and inspected her, and he's like, I can do this exorcism, but if I do it, she's gonna die. Like the ghost is keeping her alive.
Damn, boy.
And
I think that's the same case with me.
So they're like, yeah, do it. So like this girl was like completely unreactive and like, brain dead basically. And when he did the exorcism, like she died at the end.
No way.
And
I mean, there's like a little bit of like, okay, look, she's obviously on the brink of death, so I'm just gonna assume that she's gonna die soon. But that's pretty dope. That's a pretty dope guess.
I don't know why you're questioning it.
Sorry,
it's obviously.
I imagine
the way
your
you said
granddad with like a long, whimsical, gray or white beard, and like he's the religious leader, and he wore like some kind of headband and like some other shit.
Exactly.
Damn,
right.
That's sick.
Dude, I don't remember anything he's ever said to me in my entire life.
Oh.
Yeah. All I remember is him punishing me for shit, but I don't remember anything he's ever said to me.
Just comes up, slaps the shit out of you, and walks away. It's kind of sick, actually.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about it later, actually, but it's very interesting.
That's kind of sick.
But I want to tell you about one of the students I worked with. My nephrology rotation, it went super well, loved it. And there was two students with me. One guy, great presentations. The other guy, terrible presentations. And after the first week, none of us really got to finish our presentations because, like, we were just getting used to the, nephro.
By the way, presentations are just when you give your whatever synopsis of the patient to the doctor, the attending doctor.
Yes, exactly. So we didn't really get to like do complete presentations because the attending was just like give you the main points, because we didn't like have good analysis yet. Because you have to do a bunch of equations and stuff to like figure out what's wrong with the patient in the kidneys. But like by the second time, the other guy was doing really good. I was doing better in our presentations. The attendings were letting us finish and say our plans. But one of the guys, his name is, we'll call him Jay because his name starts with J. I don't want to expose his identity. Someone's going to go and find him on social media.
It's James. It's James, right? Yeah.
James.
Should we come up with fake names from now on?
Guy.
This is James Monroe.
Sure, we can do that. But I'm so bad at coming up with fake names. I'm just going to say it's a real name. I just want to preface this with he's a super nice guy, and I like him. I just hate working with him. So Like, he never got to finish his presentations. Like, none of the attendings would do it, but because they were so fucking thorough, he would start, and we're just consultants, you know, we don't need to do the entire history. We just talk about what's important for the kidney that we can do. But he's like, oh, she had a smoking history, you know, blah, blah, blah. And in the third week that I was there out of the 4 weeks, he did one presentation, and I was so angry because he went so in depth. He was like, the patient came in last time because of CHF exacerbation, heart failure, and at that time, 3 months ago, he had a pleural effusion, so like lung or fluid between the lung and the pleura.
That's all pretty critical so far.
And he's like, it was found at that time to be a transudative effusion.
That's fine. I feel like that's fine.
Like,
isn't that fine? Why not?
No. So I'm like, well, we're kidneys, so none of that matters. He didn't have a kidney injury. It was not important at all for the management in this case. And after that, the attending actually stopped him. And he's like, all right, well, what's the creatinine? What are the kidney functions? Because none of this matters. But he covers it every single time. And then the most recent one of the attendings that I had last week, he was probably the nicest person I've ever met because he was the only person who let Jay finish his presentation and literally took 10 minutes to talk about this patient. And the funniest thing was the attending started it with, I know this patient really well.
So let me give you every
He's
detail about this person's life.
Jay took it to heart because he's like, only I can teach you about this patient. You don't know anything about this patient.
I fucking married this patient's daughter and gave birth to the fucking whatever.
So he was, started with his thing. He's like, he has a very extensive past medical history. He goes on fucking forever talking about their history. And then he's like, so last time he was here for a paracentesis. So he has fluid in his abdomen and he had to get it removed. Luckily he didn't say what kind of fluid it was. So thank God. Luckily, yeah, he didn't mention it. He's like, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. He was here like earlier this month, sure. And then he's like, he was here 2 months ago because of a CHF exacerbation.
All right, now we're going a little far.
And I was like, oh my God, this is already too much. And then he's like, so last year he was here.
Would you be a doctor who cuts him off, or would you let him go and then just be like, hey, so you need to cut that way the fuck down?
I would actually, I would be really mean about it because I hate, as a fourth year, to be doing
That's
that.
That's what I
was
was going to guess too, that you'd be really, really mean about it and early.
Someone needs to say something because no one said anything the entire time. And I honestly, I was thinking like, man, should I say something? Like, these presentations are way too long. Like, we're consultants. We don't need all this. And he was like, he was here last year because he had fungemia. And at that time, he was treated with mycofungin. I'm like, none of this is fucking important, Jay. Like, you can move on. But the attending was so kind that he let him finish. But I don't think he was listening after that. Because then at the end, he was like, all right, what's the creatinine? Did he get dialysis? And does he need dialysis? Those are like the three questions he asked.
Yeah.
But it was nice that Jin finally... Oh, fuck, I said his name.
God damn it, bro.
Jay. 27.
God damn it.
It was nice that he finished the presentation for once.
It was funny at first when we fucked up with names. Now it just sucks, bro. I just don't want to fucking deal with it anymore.
We're gonna get there. We just started this new thing, of hiding people's identities.
I know.
Fuck it, bro.
It's
just leave it in,
so
honestly.
recent. Dude, fuck it, dude. Who cares?
I want people to find them.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they're gonna do it. The other thing was, the residents I was working with are really complaining about the hospital. And this is a hospital I applied to, and I ranked it pretty high, number 8. And the interview went really well, but I really hope I don't match here after this. So they were complaining, and they're like, because of COVID, we had to work like slaves. We were working so many hours. We had so many patients. We were pulled out of our rotations
New York, though.
to come work in the ICU and the wards, taking care of all these patients. And this is not in our contract, so we want hazard pay, for all those extra hours we did, for the conditions we worked in. And so they wrote a 5-page letter to the hospital CEO and
5 pages.
to the ACGME.
Who wrote it?
Yeah.
Was it a collective effort?
Fuck, I don't know. I hope it wasn't the guy that wrote the letter for SGU. Remember that guy who like wrote it?
Oh god, there's like
when COVID first
there was
started?
like all these errors in the language and like
Spelling
it like
mistakes.
didn't really address the main issue and stuff. It was just so bad.
Yeah. Because of COVID, please let us cancel all exams and just let us study.
Like give us money. It was just like, all right, all this is pretty
Yeah.
unreasonable. It got a bunch of signatures though, and then also got a bunch of people being like, yo, this is the worst shit I've ever seen, and it will not happen.
Yeah. It was funny that SGU even replied to them.
Did
but
they really?
did.
What did they say?
Yeah. It was something like, no, basically we're not going to do that.
Hey,
This
so
doesn't make
thanks for
any
putting in the
sense.
time and effort, but absolutely not.
That guy, I don't even want to meet him because I think already from that he's stupid
Yeah.
as hell. But anyway, so they're asking for hazard pay, which is not going to be too much, a few thousand
Mm-hmm.
per person. Like my sister in Canada, like all the residents in Canada are getting hazard pay. They got a new contract because of COVID, and for everything they had to do, everyone's getting hazard pay.
But I mean, they're in a
And
different
so
like
it
health
makes sense.
system and stuff. But
Yeah, that's true. But so it makes sense to give it. And so the residents told me that they got an email from the hospital that they were getting something, and it was goodie bags. And I was
Oh,
like, oh shit. So
no.
they're probably going to get like iPads or something.
oh, I thought it was gonna be like little
What do
pieces
you
of
think?
candy and like pretzels. That would be
Well, you're right, 'cause that's what it was.
So disrespectful.
I know,
oh my
dude.
God,
And
that's worse than doing nothing.
oh
my god.
they're asking for thousands of dollars, right? And
Oh
it's
my
fine if you
fucking
want to like
God.
negotiate and say like, okay, we'll give you like something like a new laptop or
Sure.
whatever, new phone. At least that's something. But like goodie bags
oh my
and snacks,
god, bro.
it's just so disrespectful.
So disrespectful. That's almost a power move. Like, hey, this is what we fucking think about you. So complain again, bitch.
You can't do anything
Yeah.
about it. And an article just came out from the New York Post that the CEO's salary went up by $1 million.
How many goodie bags could you buy with that? Damn.
Oh man, probably $1 billion.
He's buying a lot of goodie bags.
It was
Damn.
actually hilarious.
That's
And
straight
then
up
like
abuse.
the CEO sent out an email. The CEO sent out an email like concerning all these things, and he didn't mention his salary.
Of course.
Everyone was like, "Why the fuck is this guy getting paid for much to do nothing?"
There's a lot of fucked up shit going on. I don't know what I'm gonna do when
It's
I'm
not good,
actually
man.
like truly involved in it. But I mean, we kind of are right now. But we definitely have no power. I don't know what the fuck we would do. We'd have to like collectively
So funny,
get all
all
the
the residents
medical
did
students
this.
together and like, I don't know. Can you unionize medical students who are paying to be at that location? No, you can't.
You can't. So you can't form a union. Apparently, I'm not sure.
How does it work with doctors?
And you can't.
I just
strike.
did an interview, an interview with BS Free MD podcast, and they're like rural family physician doctors who've been in it for a long time, and now they do urgent care. But they were saying they 100% believe that doctors will unionize in the next in our lifetime.
Man, the hospital system is going to collapse in the next
Yeah.
few years, so they better get on it.
Yeah, we better get in before the whole fucking system explodes or the world ends.
Everyone's saying the nursing shortage is going to like collapse the system, and I believe it.
Yeah, well, or just the system as we know it, and then it'll just have to change drastically, which honestly might not be a bad thing, but it'll get worse before it gets better. That's for sure. There's just no
Yeah, I'm
fucking
outta here as soon
nurses,
as I
and the
can.
nurses that are there hate their lives and hate everybody because they're just taxed to the end of the day. You know, like they're just so much shit to do,
Yeah.
and they just get no respect, and yeah, it's just not good.
They make a lot of money though.
My buddy's
One of the
buddy's
nurses
girl is
told me that.
a nurse, and she's going to whatever PA school I think now, because I mean it's been fine, but you know she can make more money, you know, have more respect, and like, you know, not do as much shit, and like not have to deal with people's poop and stuff, which all is great benefits.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was gonna say now.
Sorry, bro.
Oh yeah, so one of the nurses was telling me that she makes $150,000 working at that hospital
That's a lot.
per year.
That's a lot
crazy.
for a nurse.
Yeah, it's a
That's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, it's and really good for New York. I was happy she's getting that bag.
Very happy. Yeah, it depends, man. If it's location, and like, and all that kind of shit it goes into play.
Yeah, she told me everything. Her pension is good too. It's like $6,000 a month. Definitely livable.
All right. Let's do something to break up the podcast. I just don't have a quiz time or anything to do this time. Oh well, I'll just do another story. So we had this patient come in. He's Mexican.
I thought we were gonna stop talking about race, dude.
But is it
pertinent?
I think it's pertinent though. You decide. You tell me whether it's important that I mention he was Mexican or not. So a Mexican gentleman comes in. He's got a large cross dangling from his neck, and
I thought you said large crotch.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he has
Jesus.
a dildo dangling from his throat. He's obviously very religious. He comes in with anemia, and he has a family history of colon cancer, throat cancer, bladder cancer, and he's I think 60 something, and he's never received a colonoscopy, which you're supposed to be getting at like 45, and he refuses to get a colonoscopy. He's like, you know, I never want colonoscopy, and no FOBT, no nothing. You know, he has like a whole spiel. He does. I think he's done this a lot of times. And Dr. Defuenowitz, we'll call her. She is like goes on this perfect rant in response to it, and I like can't. I hope that I can one day like repeat that kind of thing. What she says is, the guy says, I believe that God is there for me, and that if I'm to get colon cancer, that it's His will, and if I don't get it, He's there for me, and that's why I didn't get it. It's like, oh shit, how do you respond to that, right? Well, she goes on this story, and I think I heard it once before, and she goes, let me tell you a joke. And he's like, okay. So there's this woman, and she prays to God every day. She's like, please God, let me win the lottery. I need this money. Let me win the lottery. Lottery comes, doesn't happen. She does not win. Tries again. God, I really need this money. Please let me win the lottery. Another lottery comes, doesn't win. Third time. God, I really need this money. Please let me win the lottery. I really need it. And God finally responds, and He says, then buy a ticket. You need to buy a lottery ticket, and I will help you win. I want you to win, but you have to buy a lottery ticket. And the moral of the story here is, she's like, look, if you want to win the lottery, you got to buy a ticket. So, essentially help us help you. Buy a ticket, let us do this colonoscopy, let us see if there's any cancer, and that is God helping you. If God is there for you, then He sent me to you. Like, I am God's messenger. Like, we're here for you. I am God is what I'm saying. So yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome. And he agreed. He's like, all right, you're here for me, Dr. Defuenowitz, and I appreciate that.
Did he know that bladder, like the colon cancer, would like bankrupt him getting treatment? Like,
Wait, what?
Is he not going to get treatment after that, or what?
I mean, he's like severe anemia, so he could have colon cancer. That's like one of the signs of it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you mean bankruptcy? Yeah, the system sucks. But what are you gonna do? Not treat yourself for colon cancer?
It's better if
it's better to just die.
You get it earlier than later. No, earlier than later.
Yeah.
This guy wants to wait till it gets as bad as possible.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people are.
It's surprising that he said no so many times, and the attending managed to convince him
this time. Yeah. Well, so before he wasn't super anemic. Before it was just screening to see if he would have it. Now he's like super anemic, and plus the history, a family history, and it's like, look, like it is not okay to not keep doing this.
I actually have a mutation, and I have men's syndrome. So.
It literally causes colon cancer, but
I'm just kidding. Men doesn't cause. I couldn't think of a name, but it's like, it's not as funny. It's APC, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, or
that's the gene.
What's the one that's
Familial,
shown by a worm on the Lynch syndrome, right? HNPCC.
Lynch, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, she managed to convince him. People are so stubborn.
Yeah, dude.
And it's so hard to convince people to do shit.
because during this during this interview, he said no like 3 times. He's like, no, like, and his first reasoning is probably my favorite. He goes, it's gross. It's icky. Like, I don't want it. It's just gross. It's not okay. It's like, what?
You know, was he married or anything?
Yeah, married. Yeah, married.
Isn't it the most homophobic people have the like biggest gay tendencies?
Okay, all right, you're kind of drawing some major generalizations, but
I don't know, maybe he thought that was because of that, you know, maybe he just doesn't like anything near the
it's a
anus
theory
area.
that people who are the most homophobic are you know, possibly hiding the fact that they may have some gay tendencies.
Yeah, I think it was a study done.
Is there? I'd be curious.
Yeah, because like they showed them pictures, and then the people who had like the most arousal from that were the people who were most homophobic and rated it as like, you know,
I just
disgusting.
assume that people who are like that are gay, and then I also assume people who just anyone who vehemently is like, oh, absolutely not, I would never do something like that, like no way, you know. Even if they don't hate gay people, they're like, oh no,
projecting.
I wouldn't do that, Jesus. It's like, why are you acting so viscerally? Like, you okay?
Everyone's doing reaction formation. You know, do the opposite of what you feel.
Oh yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, we had to learn a lot of those for psych.
And
I bet Isaiah would kill those, huh? He would just list them out for us.
I hope so. Dude, one thing I've noticed is now that I'm single, the confidence is gone.
The being with having a girl confidence is gone. Damn.
Yeah.
See, it's real, man. It's real. You have that girlfriend confidence.
When you mentioned it, I was like, you know what, it makes sense. But like now that I'm actually single, I feel it. You know, I don't have that confidence that I had before. It's
this like underlying foundational, like, yeah, but I got this, you know, at all times, and so you can act as if.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm telling you. And then there's this saying in the pickup artist community where.
Is that what you're in? You're in the pickup artist?
Yes, I'm direct now. They're like, if you have one girl, it's much easier to get 2 girls, and if you have 2 girls, it's much easier to get 4 girls, and if you have 4 girls, it's much easier to have 20 girls. And like it sounds, you know, insane, but it's apparently true. Like guys who have like 3 or 4 girls, like it's just like a magnet. Like it's like impossible to not pick up girls around them. But yeah
the confidence, bro, I'm sure like the confidence increases every time, like the more girls you have. Like I felt a severe lack of it. It wasn't just like, you know, approaching girls, because I'm like, you know, I'm about to leave, so who cares. But just like even going and talking to like girls that you're like working with, it's a little bit harder. Like it's still fine, but it's just a tiny bit harder, and like there's a little bit of hesitancy.
It's true, because
if I don't need
another
to.
thing that I think happens is you have some intention in what you're saying now, because before it's like, well, we'll never like get together because I'm in a relationship, so I'll just say these things that are a little bit you know, borderline, but I don't mean it, so you know, it doesn't matter. But now you might kind of actually mean it, so you like you have that intention now, and now it's like, oh shit, I should watch what I say type thing. I think that's kind of behind it too.
So yesterday when I was in the clinic, the attending like put me in the back room, and she's like, I'll call you when I have a patient. And there was a PA student there. She was like pretty cute, but like pretty thick too, like too thick. And I was like, you know what? You know, she's cute enough. Let me just like see if I still got the confidence, or see if I can like turn it on. And so I did, and I was very happy. You know, doing some flirting. It was nice. Doing some teasing, and I was like, you know what? I still got this. I can do it if I need to. it was just us. It was just us in the back room. I was like, yeah, you want to go to the bathroom for a second? And she's like, no.
Like, I don't have to pee right now, but thanks.
I'm thirsty. So that's something I noticed, and it was
yeah, man, definitely is a thing. For sure is a thing, and you underestimate it until you're actually back in it, and you're like, oh fuck, all right. Bro, speaking of that, I did some like filming of a video that I'm gonna post on YouTube eventually. Doc on the street is what I'm calling it right now, but it was like I had to like put myself out there like fucking none other. I mean, it's not just like going up to one girl and be like, hey, you're cute, whatever. I'm literally going up to like multiple people and saying some ridiculous ass shit, which it both made it harder and easier to do. But like, I don't know. I don't want to reveal too much because I think the video is gonna be really funny. But I had like a cardboard sign and like was like asking them for stuff. But yeah, it was just insane though. But yeah.
So wait, you already did
it,
this?
bro.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm fucking impressed.
Why?
Because it's insane.
It was pretty insane. There's like some things that I can't put in there.
Yeah. So wait, how did you get like audio and everything? Like who's filming?
Okay. So, audio. I just got a lav mic, they call it, and then it's just like on a wire, and it comes up, and I just put it on my collar, and then hopefully it got everything. I haven't listened to the audio yet, and then I just had that plugged into my phone, and then the video was just another iPhone of my buddy taking it. He's a guy. I'm not part of the pickup community, but sometimes we go out and pick up girls together, and. Yeah, so he just did it because in the past we've like gone out to like Washington Square Park and just like whatever hit on girls, and so we just went there again, did the same thing, except this time I was just being ludicrous in my doctor's uniform. So I'm like all dressed up, fucking shirt and tie, the whole shebang. I like played chess with homeless people and like just did crazy shit. Bro, at one point we saw people like shooting up heroin, and I was like. I'm like, oh damn, you can hit a vein way better than I can, like shit like that.
That sounds like something. What's his name? The fucking crazy guy.
Eric Andre.
Eric Andre would do.
Yeah.
Literally,
I was trying
level.
to channel his like energy when I was out there, so hopefully I got a little bit of that. But my mask still smells like smoke because I don't know why I wore this one again, but I fucking I like went and bought weed from somebody in my like whole doctor's outfit. And at one point the guy, I'm just going off the cuff for most of this. I knew I wanted to do something like this, but I went up and he's like, oh, hey, what can I get for you? I'm like, and he's like, what kind of thing are you thinking? I'm like, well, I don't know. I just need something to help me relax in like the operating room. And they just didn't notice. And they're like, oh, okay, I think you want like an indica, like this kind of thing. And he's like organizing it. And the guy next to me who's buying, he's like, oh, that's fucking funny.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm excited to edit that and throw that up and see how that does. But yeah, it was.
I'm excited.
Point being,
to see
it was pretty invigorating. Like 2 hours of that, just like coursing through my veins.
2 hours,
dude, it was like the most. So yeah, it's just exciting to do things like that where you're obviously going to get rejected by people or make a fool of yourself, and it's just like it's invigorating and like freeing because at the end of the day, none of this fucking matters. Like we're all gonna die. like it sounds morbid, but like this shit's all gonna end. Like none of this matters. I mean, back to what you were talking about with the high school thing, like you thought it was the most important thing in the world, genuinely, who you went out with for prom. Like it was soul crushing if you didn't get the right person. And it couldn't mean less now, and that's what it's going to feel like with this eventually too, even though it means so much at this point in time. So yeah, man, it's just how the world works. But it was crazy.
Wow, I'm so excited to see it.
I'm glad to hear.
When you told me about this, I was like, man, I don't know if this is gonna happen. But
I know, dude, because most of that type of shit people just don't do because it's fucking scary, man, and it takes time and effort and setup, bro. I went off, son. I printed out the forms for if I interacted with somebody. I looked up the laws if I could put them on the video. Like with their face on the video without blurring it out, what it would take has to be in a public setting. I have to have like not specifically interacted with that person. So if it's just a person in the background and they say something, that's fine. But if it's a person who's like up front, then I have to blur their shit if I don't get them to sign this document. Otherwise they could sue me, right? So yeah, like the people I have to blur is like the drug dealers and like and some of the other guys. But like, I won't blur the guys shooting up heroin probably. Like they're just some of the guys who are doing it. I don't know.
So
Maybe I will.
like you went talk to them and then you got them to fill out. Like, hey, can you fill out
Yeah,
this
so I like
form?
did my
Like,
spiel
so I
or
can
whatever.
post on
Yeah, like for
YouTube?
instance, I played chess with the homeless guy and gave him $5. And then I was like, hey, you know, we're gonna do this like blog, just so I can have your face on there. Can you just sign this form? He's like, oh, you know, does it get a lot of views? And I'm like, no. And he's like, because I knew he was gonna ask for like money, and I'm like, does it get any like royalties? Can I get some royalties? And I'm like, no. He's like, okay, fine, I'll sign it. He just signed it, but but yeah.
Jeez, it's so funny.
Yeah. So it was pretty crazy, man.
Are you gonna do it again?
Yeah, probably. I'll have to come up with some more ideas, or I had a lot that I didn't end up doing. Yeah, I guess I won't like tease it too much on here. One of them was I wanted to just like flirt with girls in my like doctor's uniform and see what I could get them to react to. Like I went up to one girl, I was just like, "Hey, how are you doing? You know, whatever." And like, "Do you think doctors are hot or what?" And like I'm obviously fully dressed up in like a doctor uniform, that kind of shit. So I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot more I could do for sure.
Yeah. There's a really funny one which you could try. This guy stuffs his pants not on the front, in the back.
Okay.
And he makes it so that he has a huge dumpy.
Okay.
And he walks around and like his whole thing is like he gets bodyguards to escort him everywhere. And it's just getting people's reactions, and like imagine going up to like talk to someone when your ass is just like protruding from your body.
I guess. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see it or something, but it doesn't sound too crazy.
I guess the reactions will make it better.
Yeah, and hopefully I got some good reactions from people. The guy who was filming it said there was definitely some good ones. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
filmed on iPhone. Yeah, I mean, brother, it's good enough. You know what I mean? How good do you need for especially something like that? You know, I think those low budget, low res,
they do good anyway, man. It almost
honestly like
it makes it like better. You know, it's kind of like you don't always want the fully fucking edited, everything lights perfect porns either. Sometimes you just want the like guy shot it in his car thing. You know what I mean? Like that's just what you're feeling.
It just depends on like, you know, the content. I think like video is not too important.
Content is huge, and you got to get to it. Like I'm not gonna have like a big lengthy intro and stuff. You got to like figure out what works on like YouTube and stuff. So hopefully I got that down pat enough. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited about that one too. Any unsolicited advice for us to take us out?
Oh fuck. Get your colonoscopy. You know, if you're 45 and you're listening to this, I think you know, probably switch to something else. But if you're 45, you know, get your colonoscopy. We had a girl come in yesterday at the clinic, and she had like so many abdominal things. She's like, I'm always constipated, I'm always bloated, my stool is dark or purple. And we're like, you should probably get a colonoscopy.
You should go to
like she was 43.
An extraterrestrial expert, I think, at that point. That's fucking crazy.
She's like, aliens are coming out.
I'm pooping out live aliens.
So we told her to get a colonoscopy. Is like, you're not 45
Bring
yet,
us to
but
your
like, you might as well do
leader.
it because you have so many fucking complaints. Like you might have something going on.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Yeah.
No, definitely all your screening type shit. What's mammograms? Is that 65? No, 65 is when you stop doing them, right? When do you start them? You start them at 50?
30 or something.
No, 30 is
right?
too young. 30 is too young.
35?
Yeah, we're fucking really good at being a doctor. I just took the family medicine shelf too. So,
So you have no excuse.
Zero excuse.
I shouldn't know
okay,
this.
so I have a good. Well, mine's a lot deeper than yours, but I have two quotes. Both of them are important to me. We suffer more from imagination than reality. That's by Seneca. He's like a stoic philosopher type guy, and it's pretty much saying if you didn't imagine all the worst case scenarios and stuff and think about them and over again, your like happiness in life and your suffering, your happiness would increase a ton and your suffering would decrease a lot, because most like the actual thing is rarely that painful, and if it is, it only lasts for a little bit. But you thinking about it all the time before it happens, and then thinking about what had happened after it happens, is like way more painful. Like, for instance, this is the same analogy I give for fucking everything, but if you like, you know, okay, let's say you give a shitty presentation to a doctor. Well, if you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to give a shitty presentation beforehand, it's going to make you perform worse when you actually do it, and it's just going to make you anxious, and which sucks. And then you give a shitty presentation, fine, but then after, now you think about it all the time, like, it just sucks. So it's all that happened in your imagination. The actual thing was like 2 minutes long, you know? So I think that's big. And then Mark Twain also said it in a different way, which I like too, which is, I have been through terrible things, but most of them didn't happen. So yeah, again, it's I've just imagined most of the bad shit that's happened to me, or I've just replayed it over and over in my head. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Is the first one open to interpretation?
Huh?
Or did he explain that's what he meant?
Which one? We suffer more from imagination than reality?
Yeah.
I believe in the context of what he was saying, it was based on that's what the context was, but. Why?
Right. I understood it to be something
Really?
else, but
What
Yeah.
did you think so?
I was just thinking, like, you know, you imagine something and you're disappointed by reality. And that's because, you know, you thought it would happen a certain way, and that is what led to the failure. Otherwise, if you expected nothing, then
That's fair too.
You'd have an
Yeah,
outcome.
and I think the lesson, if you take it that way, is not to have low expectations necessarily, but it's to have like realistic ones. You know, if you expect this girl to be like the perfect everything, and then you finally like get married and it's not the case, well, you just had really
find out she poops.
shitty expectations. Yeah, yeah. You figured out.
you find out she's been pooping in your toilets, and you're like, wait, when did this happen?
You figured out that her butt was actually just 2 inflated balloons stuffed into her pants.
Pillows.
Yeah, and then she was shooting reaction videos in public to see what people would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for today. How about you?
That was good. It's good. I never
just
thought
cut
about
out?
it, but it opened my eyes.
Sorry, you say it again. You just cut out for like 2 seconds.
Oh, it was good. I didn't think about it that
Yeah.
way, but it opened my
Yeah,
eyes.
no, I like that one. The Stoics are always good reading and stuff. So if you're ever in a tough place, or just, you know, you should read all the time, but check them out. There's Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. So as far as I know,
I'm kind of busy reading Assholes, a Theory right now, so when I'm done with
that's
that.
really a book. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't read that one, anybody. It sounds really shitty. So, no. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it, and have a good week this week. Hit us up at thatisunprofessional@gmail.com. Thatisunprofessional@gmail.com. Hit us up with any questions you have that you want answered on the podcast, or any stories or any headlines that you find that are medical related or otherwise. So, sure. Anything else, boy?
I agree.
We're gonna hit the outro fade in music now. We'll see how that goes. And this is where we keep talking, and then before it ends, then we end it. But
Oh, thanks for telling me how it
yeah,
works.
so say something. Go ahead. Keep talking.
I gotta go out the fucking
You have
door,
10
bro.
seconds.
You gotta speed
10
this up, man.
seconds.
The train
All right, you
comes
have
in
3
2
more
minutes.
seconds.
Dude.
You gotta. What else? Keep going. Anything else? All right.
No,
Thanks.
that's it.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Thanks.